The headline: Supreme Court affirms President Tinubu's election, dismisses Atiku Obi's appeals. Former EFCC Chairman Abdulrashid Bawa released from DSS custody. Fire raises shops in Kubwa town of the FCT. On the foreign scene, outrage as Israel stages large overnight ground invasion of Gaza Strip. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We start with the latest story from the Supreme Court, as the court has upheld the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25th presidential election. Justice Iyan Okoro, who read the lead judgment of a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court justices on Thursday, dismissed the appeals filed by the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and the Labour Party's Peter Obi. The court also refused and dismissed Atiku's application to file fresh evidence against Bola Tinubu. The court held that the non-availability of the presidential election results on the IREF portal did not affect the outcome of the presidential election. The court also held that a candidate does not need to get at least 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory to be declared as winner or president of the country. The court also held that it finds no merit in the 7 grounds of appeal and resolved all the issues against the appellants and therefore dismissed the appeal. The court asked parties in the suit to bear the costs. Now, the Department of State Services has released the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrashid Bawa. Now, Bawa has been in DSS custody since June, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspended him from office. Willie Bassi, Director of Information at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, says Bawa was suspended because of weighty allegations of abuse of office leveled against him. The DSS spokesperson, Peter Afunaya, says Bawa was released on Wednesday. A video of the former EFCC chairman was being welcomed by his family has gone viral on social media. An early morning inferno in Kubwa town of the Federal Capital Territory has razed down 4 shops, destroying goods worth millions of naira. The incident, reported at a neighborhood behind the Kubwa Maitama Model Market, ignited while most residents in the area were still asleep. One of the affected shop owners, Loli Gyalo, recalls hearing loud explosions from solar batteries from a neighboring shop, drawing his attention to the fire outbreak. The commander of the security vigilante in the area gave an update on the incident.
The incident happened about 2:30 a.m. I had an explosion which frightened and woke me up. I then saw smoke coming out. Later, I realized it was a solar battery that exploded. I went on to wake my neighbor and told him that the building is on fire. People then came and helped us pack some of our things. The outfit I'm wearing is the only thing I came out with. The fire damaged a lot of things. All our belongings got burnt. About 4 shops affected.
So we reside here in Kubwa. So yesterday around that 2 o'clock, after our patrol, we went back to our office to relax. Then around that 3:30, we saw the fire from this side, which is 33 junction here. Then we rushed. Upon reaching here, we discovered that the shop was on fire, and a lot of things you can see were involved. We have been working since that 3 o'clock till this time to make sure that at least we rescue other shops. Though if you can see, the only this shop that we're able to protect with the help of the firefighters. So we try our possible best for the fire not to escalate to other places.
And in Plateau State, a Jos High Court trying suspected killers of Army General Idris Alkali has adjourned sitting to November 6 to take additional witnesses after testimonies of two prosecution witnesses by Major General Umaru Ibrahim and Major Aranshinga Bulus. The late General Idris Alkali was killed in Jos back in 2018 while on transit from Abuja to Bauchi. Major General Umaru Ibrahim told the court that the body of the late Alkali was discovered in Buchwet village, some 10 kilometers away from Duradu, where the remains of the general was dumped. Now, the second witness, Major Arashinga Bulus, a serving officer in the Nigerian Army, also narrated his role in the search and rescue team efforts and confirmed that the 21 suspects in the court have been linked to the killing of the late Army General. Staying in Plateau State, the parents of Fumbwe Thomas, a 35-year-old murdered by a mob action, have recounted the circumstances around their son's gruesome death in Tudunwada community of Jos North local government area in Plateau State. The family says Fumbwe was falsely accused of committing a crime leading to his gruesome death by mob action, while calling on the police to investigate the matter and bring the perpetrators to book. Ado Musa tells us more.
Fumbwe, who had planned to get married early next year, was on September 25th pelted with stones and sticks to death in his Suzuki vehicle that he used to distribute noodles and drinks to customers by suspected commercial motorcycle riders and some hoodlums on his way to deliver the product to his customers around Tudunwada area. An eyewitness told Trust TV that the deceased was killed by the hoodlums when the commercial riders in their numbers were shouting thief, and people around the area mistook him. The parents explained how the family received the news of the death of their son.
The family got to know about it the second day. He was killed on the 25th. It was on the 26th that we were informed, and that the body was found, and the vehicle with which his own vehicle was also found, battered. He was already found killed, dead. So I went with the police, and we saw the body in Plateau Hospital.
Based on what we heard, some people that saw it told us a swarm of machine, Okada, we call it going here in Jos, going people were chasing him along a swarm, motorcycle. They were chasing him, that Barawo, thief, Barawo. And they just rushed him. Based on what I was told. He passed, people saw him. People that know me saw him, but they didn't know it was him. We have relations there. That just these machine people, motorcycle, they were just Barawo chasing him. And eventually they overtook him. And what happened is what we heard.
The mother of the victim, who is still mourning the passing of her son, still wonders what her last-born went through before he was killed.
I'm so close to him. He had had series of surgeries as a result of some accidents or result of an accident he had with one of his brothers and cousins and uncle. And because of that, he had artificial hip joint. I know Fumbwe would have jumped out of that place and run and nobody would catch him.
The father, however, called on the police to bring to book whoever is found guilty to serve as a deterrent to others.
And what we want to know, why was he killed? Who killed him?
Okay.
Let there be no life again lost in this manner.
Okay.
Because if we don't do this, it will continue.
The State Police Command, while condemning the incident, described it as unlawful, adding that the command had arrested 6 suspects in connection with the incident, adding that investigation into the matter had been on. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Very sad development there. Now, the surge in bandits attacks across Zamfara State has continued unabated as more communities report increasing attacks leading to kidnappings and rampage on a regular basis. In Sakajiki village, the bandits attacked the community 3 days in a row without any form of resistance from security operatives. Yusho Adamu captures the mood across some of the affected communities in Zamfara.
The recent peaceful protest staged by some angry youth of Sakajiki village in Kauranamoda local government area of Zamfara state over incessant attacks by bandits did not come as a surprise to many residents of the state.
We are living in fears because we could not endure the sufferings under the custody of bandits. Although I am currently managing with my children at an uncomputed building in Gusau. But this is far better than living in the hand of bandits. The bandits attacked our village on one Friday evening. They displaced us. We ran into the bush for safety. Through the bush, we began our journey to Gusau because we could not go back to our village.
Reports from Sape had it that even on Friday, October 20th, armed bandits have attacked some travelers in Machia village, killing one and injuring several others. Also on Sunday night, October 22nd, the bandits have attacked Kauranamoda town and abducted some residents.
The bandits have killed 3 of my children. They have abducted many villagers during the attacks. On the very day they attacked our village, I was sleeping in the morning when suddenly I heard gunshots from different angles. Before I came out from the room, 3 bandits forced themselves into the room and began to shout at me. They killed some people and carted away our belongings.
Residents of several communities have abandoned their homes and relocated to other places for fear of being attacked by armed bandits, while some residents have relocated to major towns within their localities for safety. Others have moved to Gusau, the state capital.
Bandits have sacked many villagers in my area. You cannot find even a dog in some of the affected villages because the bandits have carted away cows and other domestic animals and forced the occupants to abandon their homes and locate to other places for safety. No village is safe now in the whole Tafe local government. Even Tafe town is not safe because the bandits used to attack the town from time to time. This is the only way the bandits will allow you to live in peace. Whoever wants to live in peace must comply with the bandits' directives. Anybody that resists their orders would dearly pay the consequences of his actions.
In Sape, Anka and Dumaru local government areas of the state, several communities have been sacked by the bandits. The affected villages and towns were deserted as bandits have forced their occupants to relocate to safer places.
At present, only 10% of the populace of Maru local government are residing in their villages and towns. 190% have abandoned their homes for safety. We are not safe at home. We are not safe at market. We are not safe on the roads. In fact, no place is safe in this area.
Until authorities concerned do the needful and curtail banditry in the state, farming, business and education activities would continue to suffer in these parts of Zamfara states. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV, Gusau.
2 bills seeking to ban the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and deputy governors of the Apex Bank from participating in politics have passed second reading in the Nigerian Senate. The bills are being sponsored by Sunday Karimi, representing Kogi West Senatorial District, and Senator Darlington Nwokocha, lawmaker representing Abia Central Senatorial District. The lawmakers propose that Section 9 be further amended to insulate the central bank governor and deputies from participating in politics while in office. The Deputy Senate President, Jibrin Barrow, thereafter gave the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance 2 weeks to report back to the Nigerian Senate on the CBN Amendment Bill. APC presidential nomination and expression of interest forms were purchased for Godwin Emefiele in the build-up to the 2023 general elections, even though he did not resign his position as central bank governor at the time.
Dear colleagues, I rise to move and to lead the debate on the bill to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 and for matters connected therewith. To the Act, to strengthen the bank and make provision for the appointment of a chairman of the board, provide for responsibility to quicken and deepen execution of bank's mandate. This bill seeks to address all anomalies that has hindered the advancement of the Apex Bank to handle the ailing economy of our nation. The thrust of this amendment is to create a people-centered central bank by delivering price and financial system stability.
Mr. President, my own bill also seeks to amend the CBN Act. The area I'm proposing for amendments, there are 5 areas. 1, in my own amendment, I'm proposing that we bring in critical members of the public that will help the CBN in achieving their goal. I'm proposing that we bring in 1, the Auditor General of the Federation, 2, the chairman of FIRS into the board, and lastly, that CIBN, the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, which is the regulatory body for bankers, that they be represented in the board of CBN.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we take a look at nutrition among Nigerian children as food insecurity continues to grow. More on this and many other stories after the break.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not a virtue in itself.
Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back to the news update on Trust TV. A quick reminder of our top stories. Supreme Court affirms President Tinubu's election, dismisses Atiku and Peter Obi's appeals. Former EFCC Chairman Abdurrashid Bauer regains freedom after DSS releases him. Well, let's stay with that developing story from the Supreme Court of Nigeria that upheld the election victory of President Bola Tinubu, dismissing the appeals filed by the People's Democratic Party, PDP's candidate, and the Labour Party's Peter Obi in the 2023 presidential election. Joining us now is luminary Sam Kagbo, who is a constitutional lawyer and a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming on the program, for coming on the news. Give us your quick reaction to this judgment. Any surprises that the justices tick all the necessary boxes in explaining how they arrived at their conclusions?
Thank you very much. I would say that there was no surprise. For people like us, we had foreseen this, and I think I've made these predictions here over and over that I think the Court of Appeal did justice to the issues that were presented before them, and that there was really no issue there that did not meet the already prescribed standard of the law. So to me, it was just a matter of formality. It was bound to happen. All of the issues, one by one, 7 of them, were thrashed out, and for all of them, the Supreme Court affirmed the opinion and decision of the Court of Appeal. And for some of us who had actually told our line, we thought, well, we have been justified.
Justice Yang says Abuja, for the purpose of election, is to be considered Nigeria's 37th state. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I had said so, that I pitied and I had my sympathy for those who actually believe that the Federal Capital Territory had a special status in terms of the calculation of the 1/3 that is required for the president to win in 3/4 of the state of the Federation. That thought to me was what I would say a kind of exposition taken too far. There was no basis for it. Like I said, and I think if you go back to your records or archives, I said, if the Constitution wants to say something, he doesn't leave it for you to guess. He will say so in clear terms. There was no way it would have been a kind of turning logic on its head for anybody to have thought that the Supreme Court would hold otherwise.
What about refusing to admit fresh evidence that could have perhaps overturned the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regarding the certificate claim by the People's Democratic Party, PDP's candidate, that he forged his document that was issued to INEC ahead of the elections? The Supreme Court did not seem to want to consider any fresh evidence.
It is not that they did. There was just no basis for it. I like the Supreme Court said, even those who took the matter to the Supreme Court knew that they were not supposed to do so. And the question that the Supreme Court asked is as to why they did it. For some of us, we've been pondering, because there are so many questions we would ask. Assuming it was admitted, the next question you asked, what purpose? When those issues were not joined at the trial, you did not allege forgery at the trial, and you now want to make a case of forgery at the Supreme Court. That, even with the ordinary civil cases, cannot be done. Not to talk of an election petition that is time-bound and has its own peculiar and special procedures. To me, I would think that much of what I've been saying is that it's about just what the white man would call poisoning of the pond. You knew the outcome of your case, but you want the public to hold otherwise by throwing in something that would discredit the process itself. beyond that, I see no justification for them to have actually thrown in that proposition.
Okay. We're going to have to leave it here for now, Senior Advocate, but this is something that we have to unpack significantly, especially as Nigerians continue to digest the information coming from the judgment by the Nigerian Supreme Court. But of course, the bottom line is President Tinubu can now sleep with both eyes closed as far as the election victory is concerned. Thank you very much, Senior Advocate, for joining us on the news update. Appreciate the analysis.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's take a look at some of the day's other news stories now. Nutrition remains a critical component in building a healthy and vibrant society, which is necessary for the overall productivity of the nation. Nutritionists have argued that poor households need affordable, nutritious foods like eggs to maintain healthy diets for the next generation.
The economic hardship on Nigeria has hampered the ability of Nigerians to achieve optimum nutrition standards as malnutrition challenges are becoming real in the country, especially among children. However, research has shown that there are foods one can consume that are affordable, available, and have the right ingredients to forestall this challenge.
The Nigerian society is faced with triple burden of malnutrition. We have overweight, underweight, and also high incidence of micronutrient deficiency. So this enhanced access to nutritious diets will ensure that children between 6 months and 9 years old have access to egg at least once a week, which will boost their protein, the protein that they will be getting, because we all know egg is very, very rich in protein. It's rich in fat and other minerals.
We found out that eggs, although very nutritious, were not commonly consumed, especially by those who need them the most, our children, because eggs are full of proteins and nutrients that are critical to the growth of a child. And we found very small numbers of our people actually were feeding eggs to their children for many different reasons. This perception of affordability, eggs are actually the most affordable form of protein that we have currently in Nigeria.
On the part of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, there is a restructuring of the National Homegrown Schools Feeding Program and an expansion to include out-of-school children, military and paramilitary schools to achieve its goals.
The federal government did lots of funding of this program, but it wasn't properly monitored. So that's why at this point, we are putting so much emphasis on the monitoring, that's the M&E of this program. We are making sure that we get to the grassroots, to the community, to ensure that the list of a child that needs help or that needs to be part of the homegrown school feeding is being met. That's why for now, we are not actually feeding, we are trying to restructure the program. So we are going to start effectively in second week of January. We will ensure that every child has at least one egg a week at least. And that's why we are coming up with a menu for every state to ensure that we focus on the children's nutrition.
To this end, households are encouraged to implement this intervention in a bid to prioritize safe and nutritious food as a way of life. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our contents and visit trusttv.com for the latest news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.